Hello everyone, welcome back to Rivin's English Hub, and in today's video we are going to explore a very important topic for EMRS PGT English Tier-2, Modern Indian Writing in English. This part of literature reflects the voice of changing India, a nation that found its identity through freedom, conflict, modernity and tradition. Modern Indian English literature beautifully connects Indian experiences with the English expression. Of course, you know that well. It captures our culture, our struggles, our humor, and our emotions, all through global language English. Writers like R.K. Narayan, Mulk Anand, Anita Desai, Vikram Seth, Ruskin Band, Nissim Ezekiel, K.N. Darwala, and Kushwant Singh brought Indian life to the world stage. Let's explore their contribution, themes, and important works one by one. The first one is understanding modern Indian writing in English. Modern Indian English literature began to flourish after independence around the mid 20th century. Before that, writers like Rajarao, Mulk Anand, and R.K. Narayan had already started writing about Indian life and society in English, giving it a unique Indian flavor. This phase marked the beginning of what will Indo-Anglan literature. Literature written in English by Indian authors. The themes were wide-ranging. India's transition from colonial rule independence, the clash between tradition and modernity, identity, caste, gender and social change, the search for self in a rapidly changing society. These writers wrote in English, but their soul remained in Indian. Their characters spoke like Indians, lived like Indians, and faced problems that were deeply rooted in our soil. That was the reason Indian English literature is very special in every moment. The second one is R.K. Narayan. R.K. Narayan, born in 1906 and passed away in 2001, is one of the most beloved storytellers in Indian English literature. He created the fictional South Indian town of Malgudi, which became the setting for many of his novels. Of course, you know that well. Many novels and short stories also were given for en route of Malgudi. It is a funny story of R.K. Narayan. Because Malkud stories which was a new en route for every story, the beginner who wanted to become a writer and author. R.K. Narayan explained very well about it, and his writing is also known for simplicity, gentle humor and deep human insight. His writing or like a conversation with another person. It is not like a professional way of authentication. Just he could show that he is talking to someone. Is always to shown that. Narayan portrays ordinary people living ordinary lives, yet with warmth, irony and charm. That also will be found in his works. If you can see that Swami and Friends, a delightful tale of childhood and friendship. In his story of Swami and Friends, how the school life and how he was expelled from that school. When he was expelled, how it was done, everything was shown there. The Bachelor of Arts, the journey of young man and discovering himself, the English teacher, a deeply personal novel inspired by the death of Narayan's wife, the Guide, his most famous novel exploring love, spirituality and moral transformation. The Guide won the Sahitya Academy Award that was later adapted into famous film. Narayan's strength lies in his ability to show Indian life with authenticity and quiet humor. That's what R.K. Narayan is very special and a beloved storyteller in Indian English literature. And the third one is Mulk Anand. His time also nearly is nearly a centenarian, because 1905 to 2004 nearly not one year only gap between for that century. Is a centenarian, was one of the founding father of Indian English fiction. He was deeply influenced by humanism and wrote about the struggles of the poor and the oppressed. So, in his novels, we can expect that how the poor was sold out to that. He faced that criteria of humanism, and in his writings. His novels expose the harsh realities of caste, class, and colonial injustice. And Mulkraj Anand language is emotional and direct, sometimes even experimental also. But blending Indian expressions with English prose is very touching to that heart. His works, Untouchable, his first and most powerful novel, portraying a single day in the life of Baka, a sweeper boy who suffers humiliation because of caste. And next, a coolie, a tragic story of a poor orphan boy who becomes a symbol of exploitation. This Untouchable and Coolie was shown what he was exactly, and that will be shown. Two leaves and a bird, and deals with that mistreatment of a tea plantation of workers. How that monarchy and how the ownerism will be shown to that the poor also was shown in his stories. And Anand writing carries a strong social message, equality, dignity, and humanity. And the fourth one is Raja Rao. Raja Rao 1908 to 2006. Raja Rao also one of the major voices among the early Indian English novelists. His writing was deeply philosophical and spiritual. He believed that Indian thought and experience could be expressed through the English language, but with an Indian rhythm. That was everybody was known that. In his important works, if we can speak, Kantapura is very important, and it was his best masterpiece if we can see that. Because Kantapura shown and it depicts about Gandhian freedom. How Gandhian freedom was shown that major and important role in independent movement. He was nearly by that, and he could come to know that everything very clearly, and he was witnessed of some of the movements, so that he has given that. So Gandhian freedom movement through the eyes of a small South Indian village. The novel uses Indian idioms and myths and storytelling traditions. And another one is The Serpent and the Rope. The Serpent and the Rope explores East and West cultural conflicts and the search for spiritual truth. That was the reason he has given name for that, The Serpent and the Rope. Raja Rao gave Indian English fiction. It is philosophical depth and spiritual tone. And the fifth one we are learning about Anita Desai. Anita Desai also very famous in Indian English modern language, and she is very famous for psychological novel in Indian English literature. Anita Desai was born in 1937, and unlike earlier writers who focused on society and politics, Desai turned inward, exploring the inner world of her characters, especially women. So that the reason we can also find her as a feminist. Because of that reason, her prose is rich, poetic, and introspective. Deeply introspect one in that, so that she can come out from her to write, and she explore loneliness, identity, alienation, and the silent suffering of women in male-dominated society. And of course, we can find the story, The Cry the Peacock. Cry the Peacock, a sensitive portrayal, a woman's mental breakdown was shown there. When husband leave for the job, how the wife will be having that monotony, loneliness facing every day will be shown in that Cry the Peacock. And She can, the housewife can also having the nature's friend. How she become a nature friends also was shown there in that Cry That Peacock. It was very good story. Fire on the Mountain explores female solitude and pain. Clear Light of the Day, a family story set in post-partition India. In Custody, a novel about Hindi lecturer lost dreams and fading language. Anita Desai themes often relevant of it, but some of the moments